All right, everybody. It is the first week of the ADPL season for 2021. I actually don't know how frequently they do this, but I'm going to call it 2021 because for me, that's how I remember it. And I'm super pumped. I am up against Shuriken. I don't exactly know how to pronounce your name, bro. Really sorry if I'm getting that wrong. From the Craw crew. So I'm playing for the Phantom Troop. Very, very excited. So I thought I'd give you guys an intro to the team real quick. And I'm actually going to do this video just a little bit differently. So normally I do that game plan review before. I think because this is a tournament style game, you guys would actually enjoy watching me do the game plan live, even though it's less interesting because I'm just talking at a screen. So I'm actually going to do the game plan slash review afterwards, but in game, I won't have the pre-game game plan description because I think it'll be cool for you guys to see that live. So I'm going to show you guys what this team is, and then we're just going to talk through a little bit in the actual battle where I'm going to explain what the game plan is for that specific battle, and then we are going to get it. And then afterwards, I'll break down and analyze my game to see what I learned, what I could have done better, what I did well, all that awesome stuff. So super, super pumped. All right, that was probably too long an intro, like a minute, so sorry about that. Starting off with the Don Landorus. First of all, shout out to my team Phantom Troop for giving me nicknames. I'm not that great at nicknaming things, but we got some sweet nicknames in here. So we have the Don Landorus with actually Yachi Berry. So basically this is for dealing with hail, Arctozolt. It's also really useful in some niche circumstances against like Ice Beam Dragonite or, like Ice Beam Galarian Slowking. So it has some value, but the main reason is hail. We want to make sure we don't just auto lose. So we can actually live a Blizzard from Arctozolt and then just, blow it back with our Earthquake. Running Stealth Rock because that's really, really important for breaking AV Tornadus. We discovered in testing we just couldn't touch it without that, basically. I mean, it was very difficult. I had to play super, super aggressive if I wanted a chance. U-Turn with minus Speed Nature for the Mirror Lando matchup. And then Knockoff so we can just take items because this is a very kind of aggressive team. It is a balanced team, but it's actually fairly aggressive. It doesn't generally play the long-term toxic type games. So removing items is huge. And honestly, even in a stall game, Knockoff is probably more valuable than toxic because there's a good chance they got that aromatherapy. Next, we have Borb the Corviknight with a Rocky Helmet. This is a mixed set. And also minus Speed Nature for slow U-turn. Body Press, Defog, Roost. So Body Press is to deal with those Steel Dark types. It's for basically Bisharp and Weavile. I don't know why I'm trying to describe the types. So this is our Corviknight. Also Body Press is good against Kartana. I ran into this Rocky Helmet Synthesis Kartana on the ladder that it just beat me. It was just like I couldn't do anything about it because at the time I had Brave Bird. So Body Press will help that quite a bit because we'll do over half, which will be really, well, if it's bulky HP, maybe not. But anyways, no, actually I think we still would. We would do a lot. So Rocky Helmet, Corviknight, it's just useful also for taking out Urshifu Rapid Strike. Speaking of Urshifu Rapid Strike, we have a Slowking Galar with, I lied. Okay. So I was running a set that had 12 defense EVs so that we could live a Surging Strikes without rocks, and then we could just go into Corviknight to punish. But apparently I forgot I'm not actually running that anymore. I'm running a heavier Spadef bulk Slowking Galar because this does not get two-shot by Dragapult Shadow Ball without drop. Obviously, if they get a drop, that changes. We actually have a little bit of damage on Earthquake for Heatran because Heatran was a tough matchup. So having Earthquake is really valuable in the Slowking Galar for it. Our main backline sweeper slash just generally damage dealer, I guess would be Blacephalon. This is their speed control, if you will. This is Choice Scarf with Shadow Ball, Overheat, Flamethrower, and Trick. Fairly standard set. We run Scarf because it helps out a lot with Dragapult, Zeraora, Scarf Lele, so it has a lot of good matchups in that way. And so this is really useful for especially Banded Kartana. If they had a Banded Kartana, unless Corviknight was like max HP, it kind of just wrecked me because I couldn't outspeed. So having Scarf to force it out is really valuable. Also, the late game, obviously with Beast Boost, it can be very, very deadly. We have a Weavile named Winvile. Oh, this thing's name is Pennywise, and this thing's name is Cutie. I forgot to mention those. Pennywise and then Cutie. So then we got Winvile, the Weavile. Fairly standard set here, heavy duty boots, Swords Dance. We did go with Icicle Crash just because of how painful missing triple axle is. We thought it was better to have consistent base 85 power damage as opposed to inconsistent 120. Well, obviously this can still miss too, but it also provides flinch chance, which can provide certain win conditions. And then the rest of this is fairly standard. And then we have Choice Banded Urshifu Rapid Strike named Po from Kung Fu Panda. That is an epic nickname. So this is, again, actually a very standard set, and this is kind of our main breaker. This plus Cutie. So we, early on, a lot of the times we want to just spam Future Sight. It's just absolutely devastating for teams, and you can wear teams out to quickly get within Blacephalon range. Also, Future Sight plus Close Combat, like basically in all circumstances, always gets a kill. So very, very deadly stuff there. So that is the team. So I will now see you guys in the team preview. All right, everybody. I am now going to mute everybody so that I am not distracted, and we are going to get it. All right, so looking at this team, let's do some analysis. Let's figure out what our game plan is. So Scarf, Blacephalon, definitely looking good. Definitely looking pretty good, I think. We can overheat a bunch of things. Actually, like everything. Holy cow. Scarf Blacephalon looking like a demon. Shoot, Specs Blacephalon would have been a demon, but hey, now we know. Now we know. Let's think about what our game plan is. We've got Po, the Urshifu, okay, so this Slowbro is going to be a pain, but I think we U-turn spam on you anyways. Who are major threats? Who are the major threats? Kyurem's always a threat. I have a heart. Actually, no. I got the Assault Vest. Although, if it's the bulky Kyurem, that's definitely a threat. Honestly, probably worth tricking a Scarf onto, potentially. Just because that threat can be so annoying. But Future Sight spam plus, or Sludge spam is pretty good. We do have Body Press Corviknight. Weavile. Wow, Weavile looks amazing, guys. Weavile looks really, really, really deadly. Weavile late game is actually super disgusting. That's incredible. I love that so much. I love that so much. Just to check against a Kyurem, I do believe, yeah, so we don't one-shot, so we're going to need to get Chip off. Also, Rocks will help us see what, how do I get Rocks up? Rocks can go up on Garchomp, potentially. I don't have Toxic, so I got to keep that in mind. Yachi Berry not looking super useful, maybe against Slowbro. Or against a Scarf Kyurem, maybe. I don't even know if that's the case. Yachi not looking crazy. Corviknight is here to help with this. But we got Body Press, so that's actually super annoying. Corviknight. That's tough. That's tough. This Garchomp's a threat. We got to be very careful with this Garchomp. We got to be very, very careful with this Garchomp. Corviknight is for... Interesting. Corviknight's, I guess, really only for Zapdos, Galar, and like also U-turn on Slowbro, but they're just going to teleport. Corviknight is... Oh, so Corviknight's good for Zapdos because of Rocky Helmet, so that's something to consider. And if they commit to Fight move, and based on damage we know what they are, we just go into our Blacephalon and start dropping overheats left and right. I think that's how we're going to beat them. I think we want... I'm scared of Kyurem. It's tough. It's tough. I have a good switch-in for Kyurem. I don't have a good switch-in, as good a switch-in for Garchomp. Oh, but I don't want to lead Lando and potentially drop a Defiant Boost on Zapdos. Definitely don't want to do that. So, shoot, y'all. Zapdos just kind of scary. I think I'm actually going to lead with Slowking Galar. I don't love that, but it is what it is. Garchomp's really only purpose here is for this thing. And I definitely want these rocks up. It would stink if you go there. Whereas I could go U and U-turn. I mean, it's not fun U-turning into... I think we go U. I don't know how aggressive my opponent likes to play. Not yet. So... I'm trying to think, because I just don't want you, like, just going for it, you know? Oh, wait, but we got Ice Shard, so if you Scale Shot, that's fine. So I can go Corviknight. That way, if they do go Zapdos Galar, we're safe. So this covers everything. Probably we see Rocks. Yep, which we can. We got to be careful of defogging because they're gonna want to go Zapdos on that. Whereas I could get Blacephalon in and start dropping overheats right away, which seems pretty good on Zapdos. Oh, it doesn't even kill. Interesting. So yeah, that's definitely awkward. We don't love that. I think I am going to use... Oh, wow, they got the Flame Flamethrower. That did very little. That did... Oh, gosh. That was very unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. So you're Tank Chomp, which means obviously you just kind of get decimated. But Weavile comes out here and we can drop an Icicle Crash. I can't risk you staying in. I think we can drop an Icicle Crash into a Garchomp, even if it is Tank. Oh, yeah, all day long. And I don't think we want to risk that. I don't mind knocking off your helmet. So I think this is a good play. And even if they go Volcarona, we don't actually make contact. So that's fine. Alrighty, 32%. So let's get some info. So you're a Leftovers Fairthorn. And I did 32, which tells me you are a Spadef set. I gotcha. I gotcha. Honestly, this seems like a good chance to get HP back on Corviknight. Whose team is more sustainable? Kind of his. I think his team has more sustain because you got Pharaoh, Garchomp, and Slowbro. Although, what's your Spadef wall? Oh, shoot. I think Flamethrower is going to be deadly in this, or Overheat. Okay, so I really want to get in spots where I can Overheat. You can come in and click U-turn, which gets you in. I don't really want to U-turn into Garchomp, to be honest. I could get my own rocks up, too. That seems pretty valuable. That's what we're going to do. I really want to get rocks up to start getting the chip down. Interesting. They go hard Volcarona. I don't really understand that. This is a defensive Lando, so I'm a little... I mean, we definitely win that, though. I don't see any reason not to Earthquake. Actually, I don't really see much of a reason not to just knock. Right? Because I get... Or do I U-turn? Because how much is Blacephalon doing? Pretty good damage. I do have Aqua Jet, so I think we knock. Yeah, because I don't mind getting rid of your helmet. And now you're getting within Weavile range. I definitely want these rocks up myself. I don't even know who your defogger is. Wait, you don't have one. So why would I not do this? What in the world? Well, this is... Garchomp is like the whole reason I've got Lando. Lando's not doing a massive amount because I don't have Toxic, so he's actually not doing all that much. I don't know why I wouldn't just Earthquake to put you within Shadow Ball range, hopefully. And if you go Zapdos, I'll get a sense for your set. Now, you're really weak, which I don't like. That's really scary. I'm going to Earthquake. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think they have much of a reason to stay in, so I think U-turn is fine. Because Lando... Yeah, Lando's just not doing... I mean, I can knock spam, sure. I mean, I could knock again. I'm trying... Okay, let's play this through. If I knock and you stay in and I die, then I get you in and start... I think I just start overheating. Shadow Ball's safer. Shadow Ball's safer with the rocks. So I just start Shadow Balling through your team. So that doesn't seem so bad. So yeah, I'll knock because it covers this. Exactly, because it covers this. Please show me. All right, so you were banded, so that's really good to know. You're not banded anymore, but that Zapdos just got really weakened. So we are looking very deadly on Overheat. We're looking very deadly. Only Slowbro can really deal with it. I don't even need Scarf, to be honest. I might even consider tricking it onto the Slowbro, which obviously then frees up you. You're weakened, so that close combat's looking amazing. This is looking very good. I don't need Lando anymore. I'm going to U-turn and let him take us. So, perfect. I think this is very, very good. How much does Weavile do? Weavile kills. Weavile's looking super deadly. Pennywise looking super deadly. Everybody looks deadly. Corviknight takes what? Because now that you're none... Oh, Corviknight doesn't die. After rocks... Yes, it does. I think we just go you. Why would I have to... I need you just chipped a little more, but you're really the only thing I need Corviknight for. Because I want you to get within Shadow Ball range, and you're not quite there yet. So I'm going to do this and Roost. Because I want to get them within the Shadow Ball range of 50 to 60%. There it is. Because now I can Shadow Ball spam. Now I can Shadow Ball spam. There is no switch in. I could also Flamethrower, because... Nah, I think we Shadow Ball. Here comes Volk. We're going to hit that. Oh, interesting. How much do we take from a Volcarona? Because I don't really want to swap if I don't need to. Wait, Shadow Ball only did 33, so you're Volcarona. You're Volcarona. Now you're at -1. You can't kill me. Meanwhile, I can break you. But I can't get rid of rocks. And after a Psychic, I can come in one more time, which is definitely pretty sketchy. But if I get to... no, because you just come in. Okay, I think we need to Preserve and Future Sight. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I overcommitted to the sweep. Yep, okay. I'm going to Future Sight here. Okay. Now I get you in and click... I don't even care, really. Close Combat, I guess. Close Combat, I guess. That's our play. That's what we're going to go for. Yeah, they're definitely hazard stacking me. It's funny because my team told me this guy was like played offensive teams, and this is so not that. But I really see no reason to not just Close Combat and take a kill here. I guess you don't. No, we're just going to Close Combat. Should do good damage. 29 Helmet. No. We definitely chipped him pretty good. I don't really want to swap. I think I just hit him again. I mean, can I afford that? Right, Slowbro, OU defensive pivot. I think I can. I think we need damage. I think we need damage. Hopefully they don't Scald. Oh, that was clever. Okay. Yeah, this is not looking great. This is not looking great. This guy's team is very, very deadly, and I have no Earthquake switch in anymore. That's just no bueno. I think, how much does Urshifu even take from a Tank Chomp Earthquake? I mean, we take it, and I could U-turn for position. I think that's what we got to do. We got to play kind of aggressive, because I really want the Blacephalon sweep. Yeah, okay. And you are actually like very much within 2-shot range. Actually, Blacephalon into Slowbro. I can't overheat and get a kill. They're just going to beat me out with these hazards. Darn, darn, darn. Because your Ferrothorn's definitely going to take me. Shadow Ball just does so little. Actually, wait. Weavile. No? I think that's the play. I think we go Weavile now. We can get a lot of value out. We need to Swords Dance. I need something aggressive. Hopefully he's not Body Press. No, I got to play very aggressively at this point. We got to play very aggressively at this point. How much? Wow, we really do that little? Are you? Oh, plus two, Jack. Icicle Crash can flinch, which I think is really what I want. Yeah, it is. Come on, flinch, baby. Give it to us. All right. Well, everyone is within Shadow Ball range. Oh, wait a second. We might have something. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go for this. I can only come in one more time. Okay. Of course, Volcarona lives that. Volcarona. They actually went Kyurem, which also lives that. Yeah, this is not looking good. I think I need a crit to win. I mean, I could come here and set up a Future Sight. But See, his team is low. Like, everyone is so close. Oh, wait, there's no Sludge Bomb switch in. That looks really good. He's definitely going to Earth Power. How much does Earth Power do? Because that might not even work. Earth Power does 41. Is too much with... All right, the only way we win... I mean... Yeah, the only way I win is if I crit this. Crit, baby. Ah, good game. Good game. That was our only win condition. So, good game to my opponent. Doesn't really matter what we click here. Good game to my opponent. Man, I didn't play that great. Kind of disappointed. I did my best, though. Honestly, I did my best. This was like the exact opposite of the team I was expecting. So, that definitely did not help. Yeah, I mean, well played. And they get the burn. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I mean, I've obviously lost. Well played to my opponent. Very well played. Well played. Definitely disappointing. I had to crit to win. That was my only hope. I overcommitted to the Shadow Ball. Is what it is. Is what it is. All right, everybody. We've seen the battle. Unfortunately, we did lose, but let's figure out why by going through this team preview and doing some analysis pretty quickly. And then we'll get into the actual game and go turn by turn to talk about basically what we're going to talk about here and then what I did in the game to see how we needed to play differently. So we need to first identify what kind of game plan. Who's going to last longer? Who's going to take more value? What are the threats? What are the counters? We need to find out all of this information, and I've actually learned a really key question to ask yourself is who does what on their team. Identify roles. So if we start off with hazards, right? Obviously, Ferrothorn and Garchomp are the hazard setters. But what I think is really interesting is then let's say who does hazard removal. And no one does. Only Volcarona can learn defog on this team, and no one runs defog on Volcarona. So that actually tells us information right away, because what does that say? It tells us you're not Specs or Scarf Kyurem, because no way you have no defog on a Specs Kyurem. That's so easy to punish. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're only going to get a Specs Kyurem in like 2, maybe 3 times if you don't have hazards removal. So that tells us that this is basically for sure heavy-duty boots. The rest of the team is not really punished much by rocks. Zapdos Galar is the main thing punished, which they apparently are not too concerned with, and it's really only 12%, so that's not super bad. Whereas the rest of the team has recovery options, or it's just generally bulky and resists stealth rocks. So if I had realized that they had no defogger early, I would have known A, rocks are permanent once I get them up, but B, this is a heavy-duty boots Kyurem. Which leads right into the second step, which is saying who has more sustainability. If this is a Boots Kyurem, they definitely out-sustain us. So it's Boots Kyurem, Ferrothorn, Regenerator Slowbro, Volcarona, and it was Tank Chomp. Tank Chomp was fairly obvious, just given, once you realize this is a Boots Kyurem, you kind of look at this and go, okay, this is bulky offense. That's what this is. So Tank Chomp was super, super likely. So they out-sustain, which means we needed to be playing somewhat aggressive, or rather taking value every single turn, and really trying to go after them because we weren't going to last as long because our Pokemon are much more frail. So looking at their threats, because this is Boots Kyurem, Slowking Galar walls all day. The main threat was Zapdos Galar and then Quiver Dance Volcarona. The rest of their team sponges hits really well. I mean, Kyurem is a pain if they get rid of Slowking Galar, but as long as I have this, that Kyurem basically can't touch me, unless it's like a Dragon Dance set. But if it is, I have options for that as well, where I can just go Corviknight and basically wall, and I can also try to get a close combat off on Urshifu Rapid Strike, because Icicle Shard's not going to really do anything to us. So, yeah. They have 2 main threats, Zapdos Galar and Volcarona. Now, you do need to find out what your threats are. So our main threat is definitely Blacephalon. They have no ghost resist. So Blacephalon is definitely the main threat. But because it's Scarf, we need to get Chip, particularly on Ferrothorn and Kyurem, and also Zapdos Galar, and Volcarona, and Garchomp. You guys see what I'm getting at? It's a threat, but we have to get Chip on their whole team in order for it to really sweep. Weavile is the other threat on our team, as +2 Weavile can do quite a bit of damage. Now, as you saw in game, unfortunately, it did not get the flinch against that Ferrothorn. So that was important because we frankly needed the hacks. You can call it hacks if you want. I mean, yes, I was going for it. That's what I needed. I mean, it is hacks, but it's also part of the game, you know, it's just kind of how it goes. So Weavile needed to get +2 to really be much of a threat. Urshifu Rapid Strike basically couldn't do anything because it did not matter what move I clicked. There was a really good counter on their team, and it's not even just that, but there were like Slowbro, while it's healthy, can come in on Urshifu Rapid Strike every single time and literally take all of the hits. So it was just so easy to punish my Urshifu Rapid Strike, and I had to get every single prediction right to get much value out of it, which, as you saw in the game, I did not. Now, we want to get a sense for what does the overall matchup look like? Who has the advantage in this? Because that'll inform a little more about what our game plan needs to be. So I've went ahead and added that stuff here, and basically, this is not a good matchup for us. Their team can sponge our hits really well, particularly because we are Scarf Blacephalon, not Specs. I did give Volcarona a 6. You might be thinking, wait, Urshifu Rapid Strike definitely takes that out with Surging Strikes. That's true. Excuse me, that's true, but like I just said a bit ago, this thing walls it. This thing punishes Surging Strikes. This thing punishes Surging Strikes. This thing walls it. So Surging Strikes was really hard to hit, or really hard to click. I would have had to click Aqua Jet also to try to kill this thing if it had already set up. And because it was Volcarona, that was only going to do 60%. So Volcarona was a massive, massive threat to our team. And their whole team just kind of sponged our hits and took value back really well, as bulky offense tried to do. So this was not a good matchup. If we had Specs Blacephalon, this feels different because then Volcarona can't come in, Garchomp doesn't take 2, Kyurem doesn't take 2. It would have been much, much easier to get the sweep going, but we weren't. So as a result, we needed a lot of chip on a team that out-sustains us. And so by the time we developed the chip that we needed, our team was too weak to actually pull through. So they have a good matchup against us. They out-sustain. What is the game plan? The game plan is to be extremely aggressive. That was the only way we were going to win this, is if we made really aggressive plays to get the chip we needed. I don't like making those kinds of plays because essentially I needed to rely on a prediction, and you guys know how I feel about that. But in this particular matchup, making the safe play was going to lose us every single time because we just do not have the sustain that they do, and they had a better matchup. Now, thinking about it from their side, they were really scared of this Blacephalon, particularly because they didn't know it was Scarf. So they probably want to get hazards up as soon as possible, but also lead something that doesn't outright lose to Blacephalon. The only thing essentially on their team that doesn't outright lose is Garchomp, and it can get Stealth Rock. So Garchomp was actually a super obvious lead from their side that I just completely ignored, unfortunately. So I needed to lead Weavile, which is an aggressive play. It brings in a sweeper. And honestly, I needed to be clicking knockoff all over the place because we needed to take value very, very quickly. And so we essentially had to make aggressive reads because that we essentially needed to even the playing field. We needed to take value by making aggressive plays until we could start to make the safer plays and get Blacephalon in and start to have Shadow Ball sweep potential. Now, you saw in the game that I was playing towards that Shadow Ball sweep, and I did my very best, but I didn't quite have the time to do what I needed. That Kyurem hadn't taken any chip, so I had no way of killing it. Except for the crit, which I did fish for. So, that is what we needed to do. That is honestly really helpful for me to understand how to game plan. I came up with these steps based on my analysis with my team. Big shout out to Phantom Troop. They came through and really helped me out. helping me study, helping me look at it. So I really appreciate that, guys. But now, let's go turn by turn and kind of talk essentially like this. Let's look at what I did and compare it to what I just said we needed to do. Okay, guys. So turn 1, like I said, we really needed to lead Weavile, but we led Slow King Galar because basically we were afraid of Kiram. So that was an unfortunate lead. We needed to be aggressive, and yet this is a very passive lead. Also, funny story. So that I had a couple teammates name my team. They gave the nicknames, and apparently they were saying Cutie to me, like in a joking way, but I thought they were saying that Slow King Galar's nickname should be Cutie. So apparently that was a miscommunication. So talking with her, that was pretty funny. She was like, "Why'd you call this thing Cutie? It's not that cute." I was like, "Oh, I thought you were calling it Cutie." So yeah, like I said, passive lead. We did not want that. So I go Corviknight. That's okay. I was trying to deny hazards essentially, but honestly, Landorus was probably better because I could have gotten my own hazards up and then U-turned. And then I make a tragic play. I needed to defog here all day long, but I U-turned. If I defog, I was afraid of Zapdos Galar, but look here. I had 100 HP. Basically, no one is going Zapdos Galar because I could have Brave Bird and I would just kill you. I would immediately render you useless if you like close combat me or whatever after I defog. So this was a free defog since I'd gone Corviknight. So I really messed up by clicking U-turn because then Tank Chomp mega punished and now my Corviknight's basically useless. Did you guys see that? The only way I'm getting HP back is Ferrothorn and Slowbro, which is... I had a feeling my opponent wasn't going to let that happen, and actually as we play, you'll see that that's the case. So that was a very bad turn. So again, I'm not taking value there, right? I did 9%. I lost a ton of value. They've got rocks. I don't. They have already taken the initiative, and they have a bulkier team. So now, finally, turn 3, Weavile comes in. I probably needed to knock off here, to just be honest, because I needed to play aggressively. So Icicle Crash is probably not the move. I did go Landorus here, looking to get rocks up of my own, and they did double to Volcarona. So this is what I was saying about they really were not going to let my Corviknight get its HP back, because without Corviknight, Zapdos Galar Brave Bird just runs the team. Now in this spot right here, I went ahead and went for knockoff because it would have been so huge to get the boots off of that Volcarona. But it was pretty obvious they weren't just going to leave it. I should have gotten rocks up that turn because that just would have been more valuable for me because it chips that Zapdos Galar, which was the main threat. And like we pointed out, they have no defogger, so that's a permanent setup. But we click knockoff. Now at this point, we click rocks because, like I said, they're permanent and they're valuable. And then Earthquake is kind of free. They do get a Toxic off, but the thing is, Landorus... I just wanted to get this Garchomp weaker. I really wanted to get Garchomp weaker. And so you Earthquake once. But at this point, you know that they don't really have anything left for Landorus, right? Flamethrower, Earthquake's the last move, so all they have is Flamethrower to damage us. Now here, I was afraid of Zapdos Galar. I didn't want to let it in. And so in the game, I click knockoff and find out that it's banded. However, that did like 19%. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. If I was truly afraid of this, and I needed to U-turn. Again, keeping momentum, playing aggressive. I could have immediately gone into Blacephalon and forced the Zapdos Galar right back out and dropped an overheat. And they would have been, they didn't know that I was scarfed, right? So they would have been scared to stay in. They probably would have expected Shadow Ball. And they... You know, at that point, they're probably going, what do I do here? Do I risk my Ferrothorn? No, I'm probably sacking Chomp. And they would have probably given me their Garchomp. Or I don't know, they may have actually gone Volcarona, which we would have done over half to, which would have been pretty good. So I needed to U-turn and keep momentum up with Blacephalon, like we were discussing. So they Brave Bird. I had a feeling they were not... So here, guys, they were not in Shadow Ball range. If that tells you how weak Blacephalon's Scarf is. This was not Shadow Ball range. That said, this is free Weavile. We absolutely take out with Icicle Crash. So this was a free Weavile. the game plan really needed to be that Weavile came in, clicked knock a ton, clicked icicle crash, chipped our team, the enemy team down as much as I could so that we could get that Blacephalon sweep. But I went Corviknight for the Rocky Helmet chip to put within Shadow Ball range. This was a really bad play. I could have gone Weavile and forced him out, and I would have still had Corviknight to basically use defog potentially later after their team was weakened, and maybe I get it in. Because later, right, I lose Weavile to Ferrothorn. Well, now Corviknight comes in and clicks defog, and I would have been in a spot where Blacephalon could have come in as many times as it needed to. So, not a good sack, but is what it is. Then we go Blacephalon, and we do click Shadow Ball. And right here, guys, we get the infamous drop. You guys know what I was thinking at the time. I needed to just run with this. If ever I was going to get a Blacephalon sweep, the drop was what was going to allow it, because that's essentially how we had to think. Like, this is my chance. This is how I win this. Is I got the drop, so Volcarona no longer walls. I needed to just go for it at this point. And they even switch into Ferrothorn. Watch this. We swap out to Slowking Galar, which, by the way, does nothing to this. They went Pharaoh. If I had Shadow Balled this, I don't know if y'all remember, but later Weavile comes in and +2 Icicle crashes it. If I'd had Shadow Balled it, it would have died to that. Weavile would have then taken... excuse me. Weavile would have then been able to take out one more thing, put chip on one more Pokemon, and that very well may have opened up Blacephalon for the sweep that we needed. So, we went Slowking Galar, we set up a Future Sight, we give them a knock, and then we go hard into Urshifu, hoping to catch something with Future Sight plus Urshifu combo. Now here, we click Close Combat, but we needed to click U-turn. It just makes sense, right? Slowbro can take everything that is coming this turn, and it's the only Mon on their team that can. I needed to make aggressive plays at this point. I was already down quite a bit. I had lost my backbone already, essentially. I needed to U-turn here, chip this thing, get right back into my Blacephalon, or maybe go into Weavile and just keep attacking. Because if you think about it, U-turn would have done more, so they would have been down to like 14%, and so I could have gotten Weavile back in completely free, clicked the Swords Dance, and yeah, I mean, it would have been completely free. I would have gotten a free Swords Dance and gotten more chip. But alas, we stayed in. I close combated again. That was also a bad play because Slack Off was pretty obvious since we couldn't do anything. So I needed to go hard Weavile and already have a Weavile in at this point. Instead, I go Slowking Galar and they teleport. So immediately now we're going to lose more value. We have almost no almost no Garchomp switch in on Earthquake. We do go Urshifu Rapid Strike. I think at this point I needed to make an aggressive play and just hope to get the chip I needed. And I do actually correctly adapt my play this time to do U-turn, which does a solid 41%. Gets our Weavile in, and we get the Swords Dance. Because we had to, I mean, if they were Body Press, it was over anyways, because Weavile would have been dead. So it was like, look, we have to just commit to something at some point. So we get the Swords Dance, and at this point, we're praying for a flinch. I mean, that is all we can do. Flinch or crit. We do not get either. Unfortunately, they do Gyro Ball kill. But now imagine we hadn't sacked Corviknight earlier. Corviknight comes in here and gets HP back. It clicks defog, and then Blacephalon can come in multiple times. And that would have been pretty useful. But alas, we don't have Corviknight. So we go Blacephalon, and it is within Shadow Ball range. And so we start going for it, and you guys probably remember this point where it's like, okay, if I crit, I can win, but that is my only shot. We get the drop, not the hacks we were looking for, and then, of course, at this point, it is definitely over. So, we needed to play more aggressive. Unfortunately, we just didn't do that, but I learned a ton. I learned better how to come at this team preview and say, hey, I don't out-sustain. They have a better matchup. We need to play aggressive. Sometimes you have to predict. Yes, it puts all the power in your opponent's hands, but when the power is already in their hands, prediction can be your only way to bring it back. So that's what we needed to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've actually got a video up for you guys to check out on my road to #1. Super exciting stuff. Another great breakdown like this one. So if you haven't seen that, you should definitely go check it out. But my name is Jack, stage name Ninja, and I'll see y'all out there.